bangs. The bangs. Oh. Y'all like my makeup? Back on track, Shay. Hey y'all, this is Shantavia from Obedience Podcast, and today I am here to share with you guys how my year of 26 has been. So on August 18th, I will be turning 27 years old. Yes, I am not ashamed of my age. And I wanted to share with you guys how my year has been while I was 26. Now, the reason I want to share with you guys how my year has been since I've been 26 is because 26 has literally been my year of growth. I am so far from where I was at the age of 25, and I honestly couldn't have imagined growing as much as I have within this year, and I am so thankful for the growth that has occurred within me. So I am so excited to go into the journey of 27 because I can only imagine that I'm going to grow even more, and I'm going to see some of my dreams come true. I'm going to see some of my desires be fulfilled, and I'm going to continue to see the promises that the Lord has given to me. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I have taken some notes in my handy dandy notepad. So I am going to go through each month for you guys and pretty much tell you what happened. Y'all ready to get into this thing? Let's go. So of course we're going to start with August 18th, 2019. Okay. So on the first day of my year of 26, I cried. Yes, I sat in my car and I boo-hoo cried. Honestly, that day was probably one of the hardest days of being 26 for me, and it was only the first day. But the reason it was so hard is because I was looking at my growth right in front of me, and y'all know growing is scary. So to be completely honest with you guys, last year I spent my birthday with my now ex, and when it was time to say goodbye, I knew at that moment our relationship had shifted. I knew that that was either going to be one of the last times that we saw each other, or one of the last times that our interactions that day were going to be like they were. I knew that things from that day would never be the same. And so I cried. I was sad because I knew change was going to happen. And I don't know if you guys have ever been in that experience of knowing that something is about to change. You may not know exactly what that change is, but you know something's going to change. And that's pretty much what happened to me that day. And my birthday was on a Sunday last year, and I cried all the way going to church. I couldn't even get myself together before going to church. Like, I got to church on time, but I had to sit in my car for at least 5 minutes just to gather myself so I wasn't crying inside of church. And I remember just saying, Shay, get yourself together. Go in this church. Everything's going to turn around for the better once you get inside that church. And I went inside the church, and all of that sadness just went away from me. And I have to say that that was actually one of the biggest blessings for me, to be able to push through those emotions and what I was going through, because once church was over with, I was blessed with a free ticket to the Amaze conference. And that was nothing but God, because I promise you, the enemy was trying his best to get me to just turn back around and go home, not go to Growth Track that day. So many thoughts that came to my mind while I was in that car crying my eyes out. And it took all the strength in the world for me to go inside of that church. And I was blessed with something so amazing to go to a conference that really touched my life and made me see like what I had dreamed of could happen, and I was looking at it right in front of my face. The conference is going to be September 11th and 12th of 2020, and it is going to be a virtual experience. So if you haven't, please go and buy your virtual tickets to this conference. I'll be sure to put the link in the description. You don't want to miss it. I'm so excited to go again. Anyway, I went to the Amaze conference, in August, and that was a growing experience for me too, because I was blessed with the ticket, but no one else was blessed with the ticket, and no one really wanted to go with me, but I really wanted to go, and I had to face the fear of going somewhere by myself. And the first day of the conference, I almost didn't go because I was so nervous to go to this thing by myself, because I wouldn't have my comfort zone. I wouldn't have a friend. I wouldn't have my mom. I wouldn't have a family member. It was literally just gonna be me. And if y'all don't know, your girl is shy. So that's a big deal for me, okay? So I put my big girl panties on and I went to the first night of the Amaze conference, and it was absolutely amazing. In August is actually when I first started getting the vision of the podcast, and I just was like, yeah, I'll push it off. It can wait. And just seeing that conference, it was like, dang, or it was like, gosh, you know, I'm looking at what I could do one day with just hard work, dedication, trusting God. Just, you know, I was seeing it. I was inspired from that. August was really the birth of Obedience Podcast and what the vision of that podcast was. And I honestly just brushed it off because I saw it. It was like I was laying in bed one day and I literally saw like a TV set and me and another person talking about the Lord, about the Bible, and going to that conference and seeing women all gathered together there for the Lord was so inspiring and encouraging to say, hey, you can do this one day. We are going to go ahead and go into September. Remember, if you see me looking down, I just took notes. So we're going to go into September now. So in September, I started this amazing fast with my church. And it started, I believe, right after Labor Day. And honestly, you guys, that's when the most growth began to happen in me. It was the first time I had seriously fasted and taken my fasting seriously, to be honest with you guys. And I just remember being so dedicated, just learning so much within that time and coming up with this amazing product. And I want to thank Ashley so much for being so quick to action when I asked her about it. You know, I asked her, she's like, yes. She jumped on, and she's been here the whole journey, and so I really want to thank her. But this is not what the video is about. Let me get back to what the video is about. So yeah, in September I started this amazing fast, and that's where all my growth really started to happen, to be honest with you guys. And I just was learning so much through that fast. I was learning so much about myself. I was being convicted in so many areas. I promise you guys, if you want to learn about yourself, go on a fast, and as you're fasting, read a proverb a day. I promise you, you'll grow so much. And you know, a lot of people were like, do you think that's the best thing for you to do? Like, you're already losing all this weight. But I wasn't scared. Like, I had all my faith in God that this is what I needed to do, and I was gonna do it. And guess what, guys? I did it. I didn't slip up any other days. I was so successful. Now, trust me, it was some hard days, but I was just hungry. Like, I wanted a baby cake so bad, but I made it through, you guys. And I was really tested. One day, my team at work went out to a lunch, and y'all, everybody was eating. I just had my little drink, my little water, and I just was like, and I can smell all their food, but whew, thank God for strength, because it was all him. But during that fast, I learned so much about myself, so many things that I had never saw before, that I didn't even think were issues, that I didn't think was a problem. Like, I found out, hey Shay, you're kind of quick to anger. That's not a good look. Fix that, you know. Hey, you've done this person wrong. I need you to make sure you don't do this again. Reach out to them, apologize. I just remember so vividly, like, this one person, just them being consistently on my mind throughout that fast, and just every single time I read Proverbs, I was seeing a reason or an issue with how I treated them in the past. And y'all, that fast just taught me so much growth. And I feel like it really gave me my adult view of dealing with issues, which I didn't have before. I was dealing with things very childish and impatient and selfishly, to be honest with you guys. And so that was the biggest change in September. But also another big thing is I became an official member of Right Way Christian Center Church in September. I finished my growth track that month, and we had a little graduation ceremony, and my family came, and I was just so proud of myself because I had finally did something for me. Nobody had encouraged me to do it. This was a decision completely independent on my own thinking, and it was the best change I could have made in my life, and I thank God that I made that change. So October began the birth of Obedience Podcast. We released our first episode, which was Faith. If you guys haven't saw it, please click that card up there and check out our first episode. You guys can tell us our first episode because the quality was all kinds of crazy. Clips were cut out, all kinds of crazy. But we made it happen. We got that first episode out, and y'all, that was the scariest day for me. Like, I vividly remember I was on my way to Birmingham that day, and I remember posting it on SoundCloud and not really telling anybody about it, and then finalizing the YouTube video. And then I remember I just sent a link out to my family and then like put my phone on do not disturb and just like ignored it because I was so scared. And I remember when my mom first listened to it, she wanted to listen to it in the car, and I was like, please don't listen to it, I don't want to listen to it, you know. I was so nervous, and I was like, can you just put your headphones on, please? But I don't care now. I don't mind hearing my voice. I listen to it all day, literally. Even at work, I listen to I just talk all the time. But okay, I'm going off subject. But anyway, and also I was able to reach out to that person who was on my mind during my fast and apologize to them firsthand, in person. And I felt so much relief when I gave that apology. And not just when I gave that apology, I also felt relief because I knew I was going to change. I knew I was going to be a changed person from that moment on. And even if they didn't believe I was going to be changed, I knew I was going to be changed. So yeah. And also in October, I started getting answers on my health. As you guys know, in June of 2019, I got really sick while I was traveling on the road in California. And I stopped traveling for work at that time because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. None of the doctors, none of the ERs. And so from July of 2019 up into January of 2020, I stopped traveling. But in October is when I really started getting signs from my doctors that everything was going to be okay. There was nothing really wrong with me. And I gotta be honest, I was getting those answers, but I was still like kind of iffy in the back of my head. I was a baby Christian. I was still new to my faith. But yeah, that started happening in October. And then also in October, if you guys didn't catch it, when I said I drove to Birmingham, that was the first time I was able to drive a long distance since July of 2019. So I gained the ability to drive again, which was really significant for me because a lot of my independence was taken away from me when I got sick, and that messed with my mental a lot. So guys, if you have anyone out there who has gotten sick or their lifestyle has changed to where they have to depend on people more than they're used to, really, reach out to them, talk to them, because it is hard. It is very hard to go through a transition like that of changing your independence level. It can really mess your mental health up. Alright, and then the last amazing thing that happened in October is I got a significant raise at work, and I was very thankful. My finances increased out of nowhere. I did not expect it. It was definitely something from God, and it was definitely something that I prayed on every single day during my fast, and to just see that prayer manifest right in front of my face was absolutely incredible. Oh, I also want to add, in October, I reconnected with my dad and I forgave him for everything, and I asked for forgiveness from him. So me and my dad reconnected in October, and I talked about that in the October series, Forgiveness. I'll be sure to link that up there for you guys. But that was absolutely amazing for my growth too, because it just so much just came off of me, so much freedom in that. Guys, I promise you, if you are dealing with, holding a grudge against someone, let it go. Forgive them. It releases so much off of you. Give it to God. And if you aren't at that stage yet, just pray. Because you can forgive someone and just continue to pray that it's not. Am I crooked? Y'all, I apologize if my afro was crooked. I'm by myself and I'm not used to this. But yeah, just give it to God. Just pray and ask him, hey God, help me to forgive this person. I don't have it in me right now, but I know you can put it in me. Trust me, y'all. So let's move on to November of 2019. So like I said, in October, everything was getting better, And then in November, the enemy came back in and shook the table of my life. I had a family member pass away unexpectedly, and I didn't handle that grief correctly. And I began to have panic attacks, and I didn't know what they were. I literally thought that the doctors missed something and everything's about to start happening all over again with my health. I'm sick again. And I started laying in the bed all the time. Episodes started being late of the podcast. Consistency was not there. But honestly, it was because I was doing good. I was on the right track, and he needed to throw me off of my track. And I honestly began to go on a downward spiral. But yeah, in November, I reconnected with my little brother again, and he started coming to all of my game nights, and we just got closer than we had ever gotten before. And I remember back in April of 2018, he tried to connect with me, and I was just so busy with life. I really think that everything that happened to me really slowed me down and made me look at what this thing called life is. And when I was able to sit back and observe myself, that's when all that growth started happening, and also put God in it. But like I said, November also started my panic attacks again, and I literally had the worst Thanksgiving ever because I had a panic attack and had no idea I was having a panic attack, y'all. Literally was like panicking, thinking that I was having a heart attack. Yeah, it was many nights that I thought I was legit having a heart attack. And so I was going to my cardiologist like, can you give me an EKG? Can you give me an echo? Thank God for my cardiologist, because he obliged everything I asked for. Even though he knew there was not a thing wrong with me, he was just like, if it'll make you feel better, but I promise you it's nothing wrong with your heart, Alright, let's get into December. December was a big deal for me, y'all, because I gained control of my life again. Like I said, in November, I was on a downward spiral, and then in December, I just took control back of my life. I say, look, I am going to continue to read my Bible. I'm going to continue to do the podcast. I'm not going to let this hurt me. I'm not going to let that hurt me. And I started getting back to normal, y'all. Also, from the therapy episode, if you guys have not checked out our therapy series, please go and click that link there. And it was one of the hardest videos that I ever filmed in my life, aside from the first one, because literally no one in my family had ever spoke of anxiety or mental illness. And here I was making this bold declaration that I suffer with anxiety, and I think that it may be causing everything that's going on with me. And just making that declaration was so scary. That was one of the episodes that I did not want to watch with anybody, just because I was being so open. I was opening up to my family, to the viewers, to myself. A lot of the stuff that I said on that episode, I wasn't even admitting out loud to myself until that day. In December, I went back to Birmingham where my aunt could have her actual procedure. And I remember having a panic attack at that hospital. I literally was at UAB's hospital, going back and forth in my mind on if I should go to the emergency room or not. I literally was so anxious then. There was so much going on mentally for me. And I was literally at that breaking point with my anxiety then. When I tell y'all, the feelings in my body, it felt just like a heart attack. And I was so exhausted at that point because people were tired of me. People were tired of going to the doctor or me saying I'm sick and not being able to see a sickness in front of their face and me not being able to be like, this is why I'm sick. It messed up my relationship that I had just mended big time because I let them down. It started to mess up my relationship with my family because I was frustrated with them. I was upset with them because they weren't understanding what I was going through. They weren't understanding that, hey, I'm not faking. I'm at my breaking point. I don't want to go through this anymore. But, thank God that he got me out of that. And I was able to film the therapy series after that whole ordeal. And I literally was ministering to myself during that taping. And I got so much stronger after that taping. I guess because it was like, okay, I'm accepting it. This is what I struggle with. But guess what? I'm giving it to the Lord. And I'm not going to just try to do this by myself. So that happened in December. Also, what happened in December, I used to get these really, really bad headaches. Really bad, and it was like in the back of my head, and it would go all the way down, and it was just like the left side of my face would be completely numb, and I thought I was having a stroke. So emergency room again. I think I'm having a stroke. You have your emergency doctor looking at you real crazy, like, what, girl? I know you're not having a stroke. But the left side of my face is numb, lady. And then that's when I found out that I was having those type of headaches because my iron was low, because I had a cyst in my ovaries. So I found that out in December. Now, one thing I want to point out is God is so sovereign. My pastor, Dr. Vincent Robinson, literally was in a series called Have Dominion. I'll link that up there if I can. He had literally been teaching me that I have dominion over my life. He was getting me mentally prepared for that diagnosis. Because with that diagnosis, I was gonna need surgery to remove my cyst. And when I got that news, guess what, y'all? I didn't have a panic attack. I literally was like, okay, I have dominion. I control what's going on right now. So guess what? I'm not gonna let anxiety control me. I have this situation down pat. I'm gonna put this situation in God's hand. And what I'm gonna do is I am gonna trust the process, I should say. She wanted to put me on birth control to see if the cyst would go away. I said, I am gonna take this birth control. I'm not gonna be afraid to take this birth control, because honestly, y'all, I was afraid to take birth control, blood clots. But anyway, I was like, I am not gonna be afraid to take the birth control. If the cyst goes away, that was God's will. If it doesn't go away, it's God's will for me to have surgery. I am going to be okay with whatever happens, because I have dominion over my life, and I am not going to let the enemy control my emotions. And so I am so thankful for God's sovereignty, because without that series, I would not have been that way when I got that diagnosis, but I was. So my church had like this 3-night thing to lead into the new year. And so on the first night, I can't remember, but one night was baptism, one night was worship, and then the third night was going to be the watch night service where we were going to get a word. And so in December of 2019, I got rebaptized. Now, if you guys want me to share my baptism story, please let me know down below. I don't mind sharing that because it was definitely an experience for me. But I decided to get baptized again because the first time I was baptized, it wasn't a decision that I just made. I I didn't get baptized because my heart felt like getting baptized. I got baptized because it was something you had to do, basically, at my Baptist church that I grew up in, and I knew I had to do it. So at this point, I'm like, I am choosing as an adult to get baptized and dedicate my life to Christ, and it's me. It's nobody else. It's me. And I got baptized, and it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. I want to thank my brother for showing up. Well, I want to thank my brother for supporting me and coming out and seeing me get baptized. That meant a lot to me, and my mom, of course. But yeah, I got baptized in December. The day that I found out about my sis was 12/31/2019, so right before 2020. And I told you guys about, you know, how I didn't let that control my night. But I remember that night, Pastor V was preaching, and he spoke boldness. That was his word. He said that was the word that Holy Spirit gave him, boldness. And he said that for anyone who wants to be bold in 2020, come to the altar. And I went. So I knew that this prophetic word was going over me, but I didn't know what was going to come out of it. I was accepting of it. I wanted it. I wanted boldness. I wanted the podcast to move forward. And y'all, let me keep going, but boldness entered my life 12/31/19. It's talking. All right, so let's get into January. So in January, the biggest thing that happened in January is I started therapy. Yes, so I talked about it in our therapy series about me wanting to go get therapy, but in January I actually put some pedal to the metal and started therapy. And then in January I also took some time for myself, dating wise, which I talk about in the waiting series, so I'll let you guys go check that out. I'll put that card right up there. I'll let you guys go check that out. But yeah, that happened in January. February rolled around, and I traveled for the first time. Yes, I did. Since July, I traveled for the first time, and I was terrified, y'all. I was stopping tears when I was getting ready to leave the house. I was stopping tears at the airport. I was stopping tears on the plane. I was stopping tears driving to the hotel room. And then when I finally got to the hotel room, I broke down. Boo-hoo crying. I was just so thankful at how far I had came. Like, I literally remember being in the bed when I first got sick, feeling like a prisoner to the bed. Like, just a month ago, I was on the beach at Hangout, having my little 25-year-old life, free, no cares, no worries in my world. And here I am now, stuck in this bed, not even having enough confidence to drive down the street by myself or to be in the house by myself. I felt so overwhelmed with how far I had come, and I was just so overwhelmed and so thankful to God that He was the only reason I was able to do what I did, because without Him I wouldn't have been able to do it. I remember days when I was in the bed and He was all I had, and I just thinking back to the days when I was in that bed, and I just thought that was my new life. And to see myself now, I never could have had fathomed that. I never could have had that. I can't say it. I never could have thought that that would actually be me. And to be back where I never thought I would be, it was so overwhelming, y'all. And then March came around, and y'all all know what happened in March, child. Coronavirus. Whew, okay. Before the virus took over, I got to see Sarah Jake's live with Ashley. We recorded a vlog if you guys want to check that out, and it was an absolutely amazing experience. Me going to New Orleans, which at the time was a hot spot, and me traveling for work and going through Oklahoma, which is where one of the first cases was. The same week I was there, I had a breakdown. I was literally walking around the house like a zombie. I wouldn't eat. I could barely sleep. I couldn't breathe. And it was not the virus, it was anxiety. You know, I was listening to these sermons. I was listening to prayer from my grandma and my mom, and none of it was permanent. I cannot talk today. None of it was going in. It was like bounce, bounce, bounce. It just wouldn't go in, and I just broke down. I was like, I'm so scared. I'm so fearful. You're not supposed to be scared. You're not supposed to have fear. And I really felt like, dang, is my faith real? Should I be doing this podcast? I'm not worthy. Scratch everything. And my mom sat me down and she said, I think you should ask your doctor for some pills. Cause you're a zombie. I didn't even realize I was a zombie. She said, you're not eating. You're a zombie. And I needed to eat, y'all. I had already lost like 20-30 pounds from when I was sick, so I didn't need to lose any more. And so that's when I was diagnosed medically with anxiety, and I was placed on anxiety pills. That day, when I took dominion back over my life, boldness took over my life completely. Just going ahead and going on to April, we rebranded the podcast. God gave me this vision of, okay, you're gonna reach more people. This is what you're gonna do. And we started doing videos every Monday and Friday. He gave me all of these ideas for Monday videos, which were lifestyle videos, but got people closer to us, which allowed us to open up more, which in turn allowed us to be bold. I got bolder with the topics. I was getting more into my personal life with the topics. So then moving on to May, I got the strength to finally go out the house. So literally from like the end of, the beginning of March to like the beginning of April, I literally stayed in the house 24/7. I literally had to go outside at one point because my vitamin D was so low. But literally, I gained the strength to go outside in May. Then in May, I came up with an amazing concept that literally came from God. I literally could not sleep one night, and I was just hearing this over and over and over and over and over and over and trying to make it make sense, and then boom, yes, this is it. Got my phone, wrote it down. Guys, look out for what it is. I'm so excited for it to come out. We have been working on something that's major, and I am so excited to present it to you guys, so stay tuned. So like I said, I gained the strength to actually go outside, and then boom, the enemy tried to come in and take it away. My aunt contracted COVID, and I was around her. My entire family was around her. I talked about it in the preparation series. You guys can go check that out to see the full detailed story. But the enemy tried to take my joy then. But guess what, y'all? I had dominion over my life, and I had one bad day. It wasn't even a whole day. It was literally after I found out, and then after that it was like, I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna do this podcast. We got this video, we got that video, we're gonna edit this, we got work. I was going hard. I didn't even have time to think about coronavirus. I was busy. I was busy in my purpose. And y'all, I came out so strong in my faith in May. And just to be able to see what God can really do outside of me. When I tell y'all, my entire family came in contact with my aunt who had the virus, and no one got the virus from her. No one. God's grace. Also in May, started our family Bible study, which has really grown my family completely, and we still do it, and it has helped me as well because I've learned so much ministering to other people. I minister to myself, y'all. So yeah, then let's move on to June. We're almost finished, guys. We're almost finished. So let's move on to June. So in June, Obedience Podcast decided to do a giveaway, and we reached our goal of 100 subscribers, which is a really big deal for us. You guys, a little secret. It is, what's today? It is August 9th that I'm filming this, and Obedience Podcast now has 150 subscribers. Thank you, God. I'm sure we have more on the day this is released. So another crazy thing happened in June, y'all. I came in contact with the virus again. Y'all, literally, I was like, why is this happening? Why is this happening again? But I did not respond to it the same way I responded to it in May. I was just like, my God got me. So whatever you want to do it. My God got me. And that's literally the attitude I was on. Yeah. Alright, so in July, finally at July, the month before my 27th birthday, I determined what I really want in life. Outside of everybody else's opinions, I determined what I want. And I realized that I had let so many people's opinions direct the path of my life. And y'all, whoever has given me your opinions, I'm not blaming you. It's something that I do subconsciously, and I figured it out in therapy. But I decided this is what I want to do. I made myself a little timeline. I said, this is what I want to do. Don't care about none of y'all's opinions. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do in my life. This is what I want my life to be at in a couple years, and it's up to me to get it back. Me and the Lord. Marquise is trying to call me. I call him back.
She want me. She probably is.
Hello? Alright, y'all. Let's finish this thing out. But yeah, so I stopped caring. Like I finally made permanent decisions about what I want to do in my life, and I am okay with those decisions. Like, I stand firm on my decisions, and I made a major breakthrough in therapy. And like I said, I have grown so much from I guess 2019, y'all. Like, the growth has been so wild. Is all I can say. I have just grown so much throughout the year of 26, and I never would have imagined that all of this growth would take place. I'm seeing things, and I'm not afraid to go after them. I'm sitting here recording a video about myself, talking about my life and my growth. Like, I never would have done this at 25 or 24. I would have been too shy, too bashful, too private. But now I'm just like, whatever I can do to magnify the name of God and to give him his accolades, I want to do. I want to be his vessel. And if I can just encourage anyone, you don't have to be 26 right now, but I just encourage anyone out there to try and just face your fears 1 year, starting from your birthday to the next year, and I promise you guys, you will see so much growth in you. What I want to say is, face your fears and put God in your fears, and he will work his stuff, y'all. He'll work it out, and it's gonna work out for his good. That's what I want to say. Right now, I am in like a waiting season, awaiting a couple of different things that I desire for. But I also have like some crazy amazing things coming out, like I hinted to you guys. And hey, Obedience Podcast is being bold in this year of 2020 despite everything that's going on. So I want to thank Pastor B for that prophetic word spoken over Obedience Podcast in my life, because I have been bold in all areas. You know, I'm out here putting myself out here emotionally to different people and risking myself getting hurt in different areas in my life, and I'm okay with it. Like, I don't want to live with regrets, what ifs. I don't want to live a life of fear anymore, and I'm determined not to do that in the year of 27. So what I want to speak right now over the year of 27 is I want to speak completion over things that didn't happen while I was 26, and some desires getting completed, and some goals that I'm looking forward to with the podcast, with my personal life. I'm gonna see them completed in 27. So that's my word for 27, completion. My word for 26 was growth. So in the year 27, I speak completion of my life, and I am so excited for you guys to be along that journey with me. I want to thank all of the subscribers, and I want to thank everyone who took time to listen to this video. It has been so fulfilling in me being able to open up to you guys. The more comfortable I'm getting in front of this camera, the more comfortable I'm going to be in my purpose and working towards that. So I'm excited for that, and I just want to thank God for the growth that He's provided for me. Anybody who knows me knows that this is all God working inside of me. So I want to thank Him most of all for this growth. So remember to come back, tune into all of our videos. Wish me a happy birthday down in the comments. And anybody out there, if it's your birthday today, happy birthday. And I think that's it. Comment down below any growth that you've had this year, and tell me the story. I want to talk to you guys down below. And I guess that's it. I guess I'll head up out of here. But as always, be obedient, and I will see you guys next time.